Hi, I am Stephen Barry, and I am here today to talk to you about the 5 essential habits that you should be cultivating to improve your watercolor painting faster, right? So, number 1 on the list, it is very straightforward, but actually hard to do. And that is that you need to set up a regular painting schedule. So miles on the brush is always the gold standard, really, of how you're going to improve, right? You want to improve, you got to paint more. But it's one thing to paint in bursts, and it's another thing to paint consistently. So my advice to you is choose a time, perhaps once a week, on a Saturday, take a class in the evening, whatever it might be that you're going to be doing when you have that uninterrupted time, and paint at the same time. At a minimum, of course you can paint more, but at a minimum, paint at the same time every week. The first thing is that when you're not painting regularly, I've learned that for a lot of people, the paintings become precious, right? You want it to be successful. You haven't been painting regularly. And a painting that is precious, that's a dangerous proposition for learning um, to paint better because you're not going to be willing to take chances. Finally, if you're having a hard time painting frequently, then you need to, maybe it's taking too long to paint. You need to shrink your paintings down, and that'll make it more achievable to maybe paint a painting in 45 minutes or an hour, something like that. The other thing is that once you have this idea that you're going to be painting consistently, you need to have a pre-set up area, right? To help it become achievable. This is number 2. You need to have a pre-set up area. Choose a space in your house where it could be a desk. If maybe you use a tripod and you're going to paint standing up, whatever it might be, where you know you can have your material prepped and ready to go. If you want to be painting consistently, it's super important to have your materials ready to go and not have to spend 30 minutes, 20 minutes setting everything up. That can really slow it down. Um, and besides that, I think on a mental level, having a space set up in the house that's dedicated to painting is a way to tell yourself and to tell your loved ones or the people that you're living with that this is something that's important to you and they need to be able to take it seriously and you want to take it seriously, right? So have that space set up and communicate that to yourself and communicate it to others. That's important. Number 3, create an art gallery at your home. So I'm standing here in front of my little art gallery um, in my studio, and this is an incredibly helpful and useful learning tool. Number 1, of course, it helps you celebrate your victories, which is an incredibly important part of learning. So putting it up, dun, 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 you can trumpet your successes. But beyond that, it also helps you see your mistakes and compare your paintings one to another. So as you move forward in your painting practice, seeing your mistakes and being able to compare your mistakes to each other, to compare your successes to your mistakes, that's the beginning of self-critique. And self-critiquing is really how you're going to improve the most with time. Of course, you can take classes, you can take workshops, and that's helpful. But, the real miles on the brush, the real learning is something that you have to be able to do on your own in part, right? So having a gallery where you put up your work is essential, and how you put it up is really important. What I would suggest you do is take a sticky note and put down 2 things you think you've done well. And then, of course, I want you to label something that you think you can improve on. And the goal is to be specific. Don't just say, well, I wish I had done this wash better. Be specific. Say, my brush was too wet, or I didn't wait long enough, or my colors weren't vibrant enough. I was too diluted in my mixtures. Be specific about what you want to do better, and that will help you. Number 4 is that I want you to iterate your paintings. So this is an incredibly useful learning habit, and it paid great dividends for me over the years, which is when you have something that you think, I could do that better, um, and you're interested enough in the subject, paint it more than once. Paint it a couple times, paint it 2, 3 times, 4 times, whatever it might take. But every time you paint it, the goal is to be specific about what it is that you want to change. So don't just paint it and do the same exact thing. If you're painting it and you're doing the same exact thing, right, then you're going to end up with similar results. And that can be really boring also, right? Instead, the goal is to ponder, how could I make it better? Be specific, right? Always you're being specific. Whatever it is that you're going to do differently, that's going to help you achieve specific results that you're interested in. That's the goal of iterating. And it makes a better learning tool. You can paint smaller, learn from it, put it up on your wall, and then paint it again, right? Maybe it's a week later, maybe it's a month later, but paint them again. And when they're up on the wall, they're going to call to you. I can be better, right? Help me, paint me again. And that's how you learn to be specific in the skills that you want to build when you're going into a painting. So the fifth and final one that I want to go over is just that you need to be able to share and participate. So art making can be lonely when you're doing it on your own. And no man is an island. It's hard to be an artist in a vacuum. You need to have connections with other artists, right? Like-minded individuals. And of course, you develop the ability to critique. You're going to be providing critiques for whatever it is that you're painting with, or if you're taking a class, or maybe it's a friend and you want to share your results from the previous week. Whatever it might be, when you critique their work and you're helpful about it and you're constructive, that's really building these muscles that's going to help you critique your own work. So I find it really important to share your successes and to have somebody help you learn what it is that could be done better in your failures so that you can paint it again and improve. And of course, having somebody that you're painting with is fun, right? So it is, it's important to have fun with other people and other artists, right? Who you're sharing work with. So whether you're going to be going to a class or whatever it is, you're going to go paint with somebody, you're going to go for coffee and you're going to go over work and just shoot the shit and whatever it might be. The goal is to have somebody that you're sharing with so that you're not doing it alone. It's hard and it's helpful to have a partner. You need to help yourself hold yourself accountable. That's partly why you bring a friend or you take a class, because they help you, right? So those 5 essential habits are key. I would print out the PDF that I included in the email, and I need you to put it up and try to apply these skills. Number 1, make a regular painting schedule, right? This is the most important thing. It's incredibly valuable, and the ability to know that you're going to be painting again is incredibly liberating when you fail. It lets you fail. It lets you learn from failure and not tighten up so much, right? Trying to make a successful piece every time. 2, you need to have a special preset up space. Of course, this makes it much easier to paint on a consistent schedule. And 2, it brings it elevates it in your mind. And it elevates it in your house so that others know this is an important thing that you need to have honored, right? You need to honor it also, right? Number 3, create an art gallery where you're going to put up your work, celebrate your successes, and you're going to put up your things that you don't like, and then you're going to talk about, do the sticky notes. What are 2 things that you liked about it? And what's something that you want to improve? And it's always going to say, be specific, right? Don't be too general. Maybe it's hard to apply it. Number 4, iterate. Practice painting the same subject more than once. Paint them small, so you're not fretting over the amount of time you're spending really in a learning exercise. But also, you can learn to be specific about what you want to change to try to improve it. And finally, number 5, you need to be able to share and you need to be able to participate, right? So don't try to create art in a vacuum. You need somebody who you're going to be sharing with them, somebody who's going to help you hold yourself accountable, whether that's in a class or with friends or however it is that you want to run it. Don't go it alone. Share in between. It's incredibly helpful. So thanks for watching the video, and I hope it's been useful to you. Be specific, paint regularly, and you'll improve. Thanks a lot.